In today's video, we're going to talk about how you can become a millionaire on a low salary. One astonishing case is the story of Ronald Read, who, after his death in June 2014, had his face plastered across all media outlets due to a secret he kept hidden from everyone, including his own family. Ronald amassed $8 million, a massive fortune, and he definitely wasn't one of those typical millionaires you see around. Ronald was different. He grew up on a poor farm, finished high school, and worked as a janitor for minimum wage most of his life. In the 2000s, custodians earned about $22,000 a year. Yet somehow, Ronald managed to turn that into $8 million. And I know how he did it. Lesson 1, the wealth formula. The most important thing Ronald knew was the secret wealth formula that school doesn't teach you. The formula is the amount of money you receive versus the amount of money you spend. In other words, income, expenses equals cash flow. If you have a positive cash flow, you have money left to invest. If you have a negative cash flow, you're in debt. Let's say your monthly income is $5,000. If your cash flow is $0 or negative, it means your expenses are $5,000 or more. In this case, you'll never achieve financial freedom. But if you spend less than $5,000, you'll have a positive cash flow. Over time, by saving and investing wisely, you can make your money work for you and generate future income. Lesson 2. How much have you saved at your current age? This is key to measuring whether you're on track to becoming a millionaire by age 65. You need to know this so you can adjust your finances before it's too late. If you start saving at 20, you need to save $204 per month to retire as a millionaire at 65. If you start at 30, you need to save $443 per month. At 40, it's $1,028 per month. At 50, it's $2,795 per month, and so on. Like most things in life, the earlier you start, the easier it is to achieve your desired results. Since I don't know your personal financial situation, these calculations are based on a few assumptions. You start with $0. You need to grow your investments by 7% each year. You increase your monthly contributions by 2% annually to keep up with inflation. For example, if you start by depositing $100 per month in the first year, you'd increase it to $102 per month in the second year, and so on. Of course, the exact numbers can vary depending on your situation, but one thing is certain. The earlier you start saving, the better off you'll be. A tip I want to give you: stop obsessing over budgets or tracking every single expense. Do you think wealthy people have Excel sheets logging every coffee they buy? They don't. Rich people don't budget the traditional way. Instead, they control their spending through systems and habits that are simple, effective, and time-saving. Don't get me wrong. A detailed budget can still be a good idea if you have a spending problem or aren't financially stable. Here's what I do and what the rich do. My salary is automatically deposited into my checking account. Each month, I automatically transfer the amount I want to save into a savings account and the amount I want to spend into a spending account. My spending account covers my fixed monthly bills, living expenses, etc. Here's the trick. Since I know my fixed monthly spending, I can set spending goals for food, entertainment, travel, shopping, etc. At the end of the month, whatever I don't use stays in my account. Lesson 3. How to grow your investments. Now, let's go back to income, and it's probably not what you think. A study shows that over 75% of millionaires came from poor backgrounds. What all millionaires have in common is that they have multiple income streams, on average 3 to 7. Ronald Read had 2 main jobs, as a janitor and a second one, which I'll share later. 2 key benefits of having multiple income streams: reduces dependence on a single income source, including your full-time job. You might think your primary job is secure, but it's actually riskier than you realize. If your boss fires you, you're financially ruined. Supercharge your cash flow formula. If your monthly expenses are $3,000, you can try to live more frugally and maybe cut them down to $2,400. That's a solid move. But here's the catch. There's always a limit to how much you can save. Even if you live on rice and water, it still costs something. You can't shrink your expenses forever. That's why focusing only on cutting costs is enough. You need to grow your income too. But if you can earn just a little more, even $100 per week, your cash flow will increase significantly. To earn more, you could do it the traditional way. Work overtime, ask for a raise, or get a better job. Start a side hustle, like I did when I worked full-time. In fact, this YouTube channel started as a side hustle, which I was lucky enough to turn into my full-time job. Depending on the side hustle, it might require a few extra hours of work, but trust me, it'll be worth it. That said, I know starting a new income stream might be the last thing on your mind right now. Lesson 4. Go beyond the wealth formula. Ronald didn't become a multimillionaire just by perfecting his cash flow formula. He had another secret. And when he died, the truth finally came out. Not even his family knew Ronald's secret. He had invested in around 95 different stocks over his lifetime. After reviewing all his investment choices, I decided to give you some advice. It's vital that you invest correctly. I'll show you the easiest way to start. But first, here's a mistake you must avoid at all costs. You've probably heard a lot about day trading. There are tons of ads on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube of people analyzing charts, buying and selling 20 times a day, hoping a stock will rise, thinking it's exciting and the key to getting rich. But here's what they don't tell you. 90% of day traders lose money. Thanks to his wisdom, Ronald never traded. He was an investor. He focused on a company's fundamentals, analyzing its intrinsic value to ensure the investment made sense both quantitatively and qualitatively. He wasn't going to gamble his life savings on volatile stocks like GameStop or AMC. Lesson 5. Ronald Read's plan was long-term investing. His money accumulated over decades. Every month when he got his janitor's paycheck, he added a portion to his investments. Let's say you save $1,000 in the first year and earn 10% interest. By the end of that year, you'd have $1,100. In the second year, you earn 10% on the new total. So your interest is $110, bringing your investment up to $1,210. In the third year, 10% interest on $1,210 gives you $121. Now your investment is worth $1,331, and the growth continues from there. If you were to graph this process, you'd see an exponential growth curve, the power of compound interest in action. This is why Albert Einstein called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. It's how Warren Buffett built 99% of his wealth. Lesson 6. How to handle the unexpected. What would you do if you saw the stock market crash? You'd probably sell out of fear of losing your life savings. Ronald lived through 11 stock market crashes, yet he kept his investments because he knew the secret. The best solution is to keep investing long-term. So never panic in these situations. Lesson 7. How Ronald learned about investing. The answer was surprisingly simple. He went to the library and read the Wall Street Journal for free. He talked to neighbors who worked in banks to learn about money and how it works. And luckily, you're doing the same thing right now, watching this free video. Even when you buy an $8 book, you're essentially downloading decades of the author's knowledge for a few coins. Lesson 8. Nobody's perfect, not even Ronald Read. Though he was very smart, some of his investments failed miserably. Despite setbacks, he kept investing because his portfolio was diversified with other stocks. We all make mistakes, but I'm here to tell you, never give up. Just remember, the one thing you can't afford to mess up is how you save your money.